What is going on, y'all? It is the Caveman back at it again with another video, and I've been trying to think of different ways I can be creative with my content because these days in the off season there just is not that much to talk about. I don't want to milk the same topics over and over again. I'm trying to think outside of the damn box. So as I was sitting in my bed, I thought of the idea, why not go on TikTok and find some NFL takes that I simply disagree with or that I find completely moronic and talk about them and just give you the reasons why I dispute them. I just want to say before the video starts that at some point in this video I might come across as if I think these people are complete morons, which is not the case at all. I did go through their TikTok pages and there were a lot of different takes that I completely agreed with. I just nitpicked the ones I didn't agree with for the sake of this video. Not everybody can agree on everything, and you know, when there's disagreement, there's conversation to be had, and I thought it'd be a good video idea. I mean, no hate toward any of these creators. They all have a following for a reason. I'll leave the link to their TikToks down in the description below, and let's just get right into it. Although, hold your horses, ladies and gentlemen. Before we do get into it, Mott's Applesauce is the vibe of today. You guys know the drill. You can never go wrong with your Mott's. I want Mott's to know that I want to help them in spreading the message and spreading the idea that Mott's Applesauce can improve your day substantially. So be sure, if you're ever feeling down, if you're ever hungry, if you're ever thirsty, use some damn Mott's Applesauce. Maybe Mott's will realize how much I truly love their applesauce one day. Alright, so let's hop right into it. The first take comes from a creator by the name of Elite Takes. He's got about 50,000 followers on TikTok. He's a pretty large page. Most of these TikTokers that I have mentioned in this video have a decently large following. But here's the clip that I'm going to be talking about. This is the list that Elite Takes made.
Here are the top 5 yards after catch receivers in the NFL. Honorable mention goes to DJ Moore. Number 5, I have a guy who I don't think gets enough credit for just how quick and shifty he is. Number 4, I have Deontay Johnson. He definitely struggles with his hands, but I still think he has a lot of potential as a receiver. Number 3, I've got Tyreek Hill. I don't think I need to explain too much here. You can make a case for this guy being number 1, and that's Deebo Samuel. And I've got AJ Brown.
So your initial thought might be, what am I going to disagree with about this list? And I'm going to be honest here, I really don't disagree with the list all that much. The list isn't something that I can sit here and just rip apart shred to shred because I think it's that bad. I do genuinely think it is a very good list, but I want to voice my complaints about one player that I feel like not only Elite Takes is sleeping on, but I feel like every single person and their mother is sleeping on. But Odell Beckham Jr., this is like his bread and butter, yards after catch. When the ball is in his hands, nobody is better with the ball in their hands than Odell Beckham Jr. This is what he is best at, and I feel like everybody is forgetting what Odell Beckham actually is all about. Odell is a rare case of an elite wide receiver that is getting no love and no recognition whatsoever by anybody. Of course, 2020 is a large reason for that. He's been dealing with a lot of injuries. He's also been dealing with a lack of a role in Cleveland. He definitely is not as impactful in Cleveland as he used to be in New York, but still, that does not take away from what he is as an individual receiver. I mean, just in general too, just not with this list that Elite Takes made. Anytime that people are talking about the best wide receivers in the league anymore, Odell Beckham is never, ever mentioned. But Odell Beckham is one of the most skilled wide receivers in the NFL. And like I said, I don't think this list is particularly bad, but yards after catch is Odell Beckham Jr.'s bread and butter. He began as a returner in the NFL. He's been used on a ton of different rush plays and different jet sweeps behind the line of scrimmage. I guess nobody remembers the play on Cleveland when they were playing the Dallas Cowboys when he was like 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage and then ran up the sideline and evaded the entire Cowboys defense. I guess nobody remembers that. And just in general, Odell Beckham in open space with the ball in his hands, there's nobody more dangerous in my personal opinion, and it's just criminal to me that he's not mentioned as one of the best wide receivers on this list in terms of yards after catch. He's definitely becoming one of the most forgotten elite wide receivers that we have in the NFL, and not even by Elite Takes. I'm just talking about everybody in general. Any NFL fan, when you talk about the best wide receivers, Odell Beckham is no longer in that conversation for a lot of people, and I think that's just a crime, and this list is not the only example of that. Take number 2 comes from a TikToker named Lobes Leeds. I think I said that right. I might be completely wrong, but this TikTok it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a pretty short one. So as you just saw, he is of the opinion that Tyreek Hill is a top 2 wide receiver in the NFL. I could easily and gladly disagree with such statement. And don't get me wrong, I am a very big fan of Tyreek Hill. I really enjoy the game he plays. but I just don't think as an individual you could possibly claim that he's even top 3, let alone top 2. A lot of the comments on that TikTok were people saying in terms of value to his team, Tyreek Hill could definitely be in the conversation for being a top 2 wide receiver, which I completely understand and I could see that take, and that is what Lobes Leads was definitely agreeing with down in the comment section. I think when making a top positional list, you should be looking at the individual player and his skill set alone and not necessarily the value he brings to his team. I think you have to balance out how much you consider his value to a team in comparison to his individual skill set. And trust me, I am a big believer that Tyreek Hill is the #1 reason that offense in Kansas City works so well. I think Tyreek Hill is the #1 reason why Travis Kelce is as good as he is. Travis Kelce himself is a very good individual tight end, but Tyreek Hill opens the field so much for Travis Kelce to do his work over the middle. So I can definitely see the argument that Tyreek Hill is a top 2 wide receiver in terms of value that he brings to his team, but I don't think that's the same conversation as top 2 wide receiver in general. I don't think his skill set is good enough to compare with guys like D-Hop, Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, and even Stephon Diggs. And with that being said, I would have Tyreek Hill at 5. Now, take number 3 is where I get mad. This is where I get freaking pissed. This is where I get pissed off, all right? This is where I'm about to get angry. This take is about the top 10 coaches in the NFL from 440 Sports, and I'm going to let you figure out what the biggest issue is right off the bat. It doesn't even take long into the TikTok for you to realize what the problem is.
Living in this big blue world with my head up in outer space. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. When I see trouble come by.
Probably did not take you very long to figure out what the hell was wrong with this list. He put Sean McDermott at 10 out of the top 10 coaches in the NFL. I almost spit my drink when I saw this. Sean McDermott took a team that was in a 17-year playoff drought into the playoffs. Sean McDermott took a team that has not won a playoff game in 17, 18 years, however long it's been, and he won a playoff game. And not only did he win a playoff game with this team, he got to the AFC Championship with this team. All because of Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, don't get me wrong, but those two guys together, how are you going to possibly tell me he's 10th? The Sean McDermott-Kevin Stefanski conversation can go one way or another. Of course, being a Bills fan, as you can tell from behind me, if you're new around here, I'm going to say McDermott is better than Stefanski, but I can definitely hear out the Kevin Stefanski argument over McDermott. But when I saw Brian freaking Flores at 7, I was like, is this guy all right? Is this guy freaking okay? He put Brian Flores at 7 in front of Kevin Stefanski, in front of Sean McDermott, in front of Matt LaFleur. What in God's name is happening here? That is just when I lost my shit, all right? Maybe I can hear out Sean McDermott being a little lower on this list, but at 10 behind Brian Flores, give me a damn break. Now, don't get me wrong, I have a ton of respect for Brian Flores and what he's doing for the Dolphins down in Miami, but do not try and tell me that he did not fumble the quarterback situation last year. He did not handle that correctly in the slightest bit. And in my opinion, I think him fumbling the quarterback situation between Tua and Fitzpatrick was the reason why they did not make the playoffs. I mean, Tua Tagovailoa, I just don't think he's NFL ready, and he certainly wasn't NFL ready last season. Despite that he won 6 games or whatever, he won 6 games because he had his defense and special teams bail him out in so many different moments. When Flores benched Fitzpatrick, I was pissed off. That was so wrong of him to do. And then he used Fitzpatrick to save the Dolphins when Tua Tagovailoa wasn't doing anything. I just thought benching Fitzpatrick was so disrespectful because he was obviously the best quarterback to give them a chance to make the playoffs, and they definitely had a shot at making the playoffs, but they actually lost a game that was pretty crucial in their playoff run, and that was in Week 10 against the Denver Broncos. The Broncos were a struggling team last season, to say the least, and the Miami Dolphins were playing very well at that point in the season, and they dropped that game to the Denver Broncos because Tua Tagovailoa played 3 quarters and 5 minutes and threw for a total of 83 yards. An NFL quarterback threw for 83 yards in 3.5 quarters. I mean, that's horrible, right? That is horrible. Tua Tagovailoa wasn't getting bailed out by his defense and special teams for once, and he couldn't do jack shit. He got sacked 6 times in that game, threw for 83 yards, had, I think, 11 completions. He played straight out horrible, and it was just a result of how he'd been playing up to that point. It just was the defense and special teams weren't scoring for him. And I shouldn't say scoring for him, they just weren't setting him up in positions on the field where it was easy to go down the field. Like, they weren't putting him in good yardage situations to start with. So once Tua got benched at the 10-minute mark of the 4th quarter, Ryan Fitzpatrick came in, got sacked a total of 0 times, and threw for 34 more yards than Tua did in that whole entire game, and had 1 more completion than him on 2 less attempts. So I just don't know. And they also lost that game. Ryan Fitzpatrick was not able to pull that one out for them like he did in numerous other games that season. It was inexcusable the way that Brian Flores handled that quarterback situation, and I feel it's extremely overlooked. Like, he gets a discount for that for some reason. I don't think you fumble a situation situation that badly and be considered a good coach. And like I said, I have tremendous respect for Brian Flores. I just don't think he should be getting a pass for the way he handled the quarterback situation last year. I think that it's extremely inexcusable, and it would raise some red flags for me if I was a Dolphins fan. So yeah, that list definitely does not pass my vibe check if you haven't figured that out yet. This fourth take comes from a TikToker named the Oish NFL. I think that's how you say that. I'm not completely sure. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but I'm just going to let you watch this for yourself.
I got a lot of hate for leaving Christian McCaffrey off of my top 5 running backs list, but here's the thing, there are 6 elite running backs. You got to leave one of these guys off. Here's my ranking. Why is McCaffrey the one who doesn't make the cut? Well, I think he's the worst pure rusher out of all of these guys. And if you don't believe me, like, you don't need to grind hours of film for this. Just watch their highlights. Christian McCaffrey has the lamest highlight tape. And obviously, I'm basing this opinion on more than a highlight tape, but like that's a good example of like what at their peak they can all do. Christian McCaffrey cannot do the things that everyone else on this list can do.
Do I really need to speak to how just confusing and bad and, I'm sorry, just stupid this is? Like I said, I have a lot of respect for all of these TikTokers. They have a lot of great content on their pages. Just some of them, you know, they have their misses, right? This is the biggest miss I came across in making this video. I've never seen a more disagreeable take in my life. I think everybody that's a football fan would easily say that Christian McCaffrey is arguably the best running back in the NFL, at least top 2, and at the very least top 3. But not putting him in your top 5, I don't care what your reasoning is or what you try to say to try and rationalize this take, it does not fly. I mean, Christian McCaffrey and his numbers and his tape, it all speaks for its damn self. Like, I can get extremely angry about this take, but there's just no reason because I don't think I've ever seen a single human being say this. I think I would have everybody's support that is watching this video or that watched that TikTok that would say that Christian McCaffrey is in the top 5 at the very least. I mean, if you want to say he's 4th or something, then fine. But not to even put him in the top 5, that is an absolute crime scene. That is criminal. So yeah, when I saw this, I just had to put it in this video. This was by far the worst take I came across. I was dumbfounded. I was sitting back. I was like, oh my Lord. These were the kinds of takes that I was freaking looking for this video. Like, this was just... Oh my God, it really makes you wonder, man. It really makes you wonder. So yeah, those were the 4 takes that I came across that I just had to disagree with, that I wanted to throw in this video. Like I said, no disrespect, no hate toward these TikTokers whatsoever. They have followers for a reason. They are smart people. They just have some takes sometimes that I just am going to disagree with, and that's human nature. We can't all agree on everything. But I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please let me know if you want to see more of these kinds of videos because I really enjoyed doing it. But if you enjoyed the video, and I hope you did, please like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. If you want to hit the bell to be notified when I upload, I would appreciate that. If you want to go over to Twitter, follow me over there, I would appreciate that as well. I'm a part of the Built in Buffalo content creation page. If you like Buffalo Bills content, be sure to follow and subscribe to them on any social medias that you might have, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.